Round one, baby. Bah!
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel, and in this huddle, we're going to talk about the 90-62 win that the North Carolina Tar Heels, the number one seed out in the West, just got over the 16-seeded Wagner Seahawks. And first and foremost, bro, before we get into the Heels, absolute shout out, dude, to Coach Copeland and the Wagner Seahawks, dude. They had 7 scholarship players, and they battled all the way to the very end. Somehow, they were able to not have anybody foul out in that game, despite, I think, at one point having 3 guys with 3 fouls in the first half. So, you know, kudos to them for showing up, getting an NCAA tournament win, and then playing Carolina really, for all intents and purposes, tough for 30 to 35 minutes in that first round in Charlotte, you know, basically on our own home floor, man. So those kids played hard, man, and they have nothing to hang their heads about. They played really well. Now, our North Carolina Tar Heels, on the other hand, one of the things that I'm just going to say off the jump, dude, is, hey, Jae-Lyn Withers was an absolute monster off of the bench. He basically had his best game of the season, finishing with 16 and 10. A double-double off the bench for Jae-Lyn Withers. He went 5 for 7, 6 for 9 from the free throw line, and he was tremendous on the offensive glass and around the rim, dude. Lots of putbacks. The guy just played his stinking butt off. Another guy that you would expect to just have a really big game against an undersized Wagner team is Armando Bacot. He finishes with 20 and 15, and he had 5 offensive rebounds himself. And one of the keys to the game was we have got to make a concerted effort to get him the ball inside. And I thought that Carolina did that early. It only makes sense that you would attack the basket with your 6'11", 240-pound grad center / forward, whatever you want to call him. So he played well. He dominated like we would expect him to do against an inferior opponent like that. RJ Davis came on real late, dude. 8 for 13 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line, and my man finished with 22 points. And then Cormac Ryan, he added 13 himself. But I'm telling you right now, bro, if it wasn't for the early play of Jae-Lyn Withers, Wagner could have even been even more into this basketball game. And I don't think that we ever thought, you know, there was never any time where I was like, man, dude, are we going to drop the ball here? Are we actually going to possibly lose to this 16th seed? No, we didn't think that at all. I don't think there's one person who was kind of getting antsy in their seat. But if we know what we're looking at, and we know that the focus that Michigan State showed against Mississippi State and how well they played, Carolina did not come out in the first round and make you didn't give you the warm and fuzzies about their focus, if you will. We had 6 first-half turnovers that led to 9 points for the Wagner Seahawks. That's one of the things that helped keep them in the stinking basketball game. There were multiple opportunities where Carolina could have just absolutely ran away with this ball game, and then there was some kind of silly pass that they made or just being sloppy with the ball. Now, the stat line is maybe going to paint a little bit of a different picture because Carolina out-rebounded the Wagner Seahawks 43-24, plus 19 on the boards. That's great. Carolina had they were 13-8 in offensive boards, 30-16 in defensive boards. Carolina had 14 assists compared to Wagner's 8 assists, right? But it's those 9 turnovers that really helped Wagner stay in the basketball game. So that's something that we got to clean up, man. Carolina cannot be sloppy with the basketball against Michigan State. Michigan State was 19-14 coming into this tournament, but that is not a bad basketball team. And you know that Coach Izzo is a legend, okay? He is going to dial up whatever he needs to in order for Michigan State to be in this ball game. And we'll talk about that a little bit later during the North Carolina-Michigan State preview video, but Carolina won by 28 tonight, okay? They won by 28 with their C-minus game. I think that we can all agree that that is not the best Carolina team that we've seen. However, don't forget, Wagner was 17-15, and they basically got into the tournament. They got into the tournament because they won their conference tournament. They're not a team that is just, they're going to scare you. But Carolina, they kind of let them hang in there, man. And once again, my biggest concern was what seemed to be a lack of focus. Now, it could be true that maybe Carolina just didn't take them serious from the jump. Maybe they didn't. And I'm hoping that that's actually what was the case, okay? Because once again, we can't play like that against Michigan State and expect to comfortably win the basketball game. That's an understood you, man. So, I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of Carolina fans that watch this, and maybe they're like, how could you complain about a 28-point game? Listen, for those of us who know what we're watching, okay, that was not a focused basketball team. And, it was a 12-point game with about, 7-8 minutes left, and then Carolina went on that real big run to end the basketball game, and that's why we have a 28-point victory. So those are all things that you need to take into account. And I think that even the untrained eye knows that was not the best product that Carolina can put forth, man. So the good news is, once again, obviously, that at this time of year, okay, the goal is to survive and advance, right? Carolina moves on to the second round, the round of 32, and they're going to be one of 32 teams left in the nation here after tomorrow's set of games. So, that's the plus. They won, not playing their best basketball, but they better get right tomorrow and the 23rd, because that Michigan State team is going to be ready to play. That Tom Izzo is going to have them ready. So a lot to work on here. There's just a ton of things that Carolina needs to clean up, and mainly it's their ball security and not, having those turnovers that lead to transition points for the opposing team. Once again, team stats, Wagner shot 39.7% from the field, under 40%. You'll take that all day. And they shot 38.9% from three. They had 8 turnovers, and they only had 24 boards, but obviously they're a very undersized team. Carolina shot 55% from the field and 50% for three. They had 9 turnovers, and they had 43 rebounds, so they were plus 19 on the glass, and that's what you would expect. So let me know, Tar Heel Nation, what you think about this game down in the comment section. Are you excited? Did Carolina live up to what you thought that they were going to do? I actually, surprisingly enough, had the game scored at 92-62, and Carolina won 90-62. So I was almost right there, but I really expected this game to go a little bit different and for us to get to this score a little bit differently. So interestingly enough, they're kind of where I anticipated the game going as far as the final score. So, like I said, comment down in the comment section what you think about this basketball game. If you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And shout out to my Huddle Hooligans who help me keep the lights on. Love you, Tar Heel Nation. Survive in advance, baby. And we'll see you on Saturday against Michigan State. Go Heels.